The galaxy shimmered under a veil of uneasy peace, its stars casting faint light across the spires of Coruscant. Deep within the Jedi Temple, the air was thick with the hum of ancient wisdom, but a shadow lingered, unseen yet palpable. It was a time of hidden threats, of a republic bloated with bureaucracy and a Jedi order tethered to its traditions. On this day, in the waning moments of what would later be called the Battle of Naboo, everything changed. Yoda, the Grand Master of the Jedi, did not stand among the living. His small green form had faded into the Force, not in the twilight of the Clone Wars, but here, at the dawn of the Sith's resurgence. His death was no act of violence, but a choice, a surrender to the Force's will, transforming him into a Force ghost to guide the Jedi through a darkening storm. The story begins in the Jedi Temple's meditation chambers, where Obi-Wan Kenobi knelt, his face etched with grief. The weight of Qui-Gon Jinn's death at the hands of Darth Maul pressed against his chest, but it was Yoda's absence that carved a deeper wound. Only hours ago, during the chaos of Naboo's liberation, Yoda had sensed a disturbance in the Force, a Sith presence so potent it threatened to unravel the Jedi's purpose. In a secluded chamber, far from the battle, Yoda had meditated, seeking clarity. The Force had spoken, and Yoda had listened. His physical form dissolved, his essence merging with the cosmic tide, leaving behind only his robe and a faint glow that whispered of eternity. Now, Obi-Wan felt the void. Yoda had been the Order's anchor, and without him, the Jedi seemed adrift. Yet as Obi-Wan closed his eyes, a familiar voice echoed in his mind. Yoda's voice, soft but unyielding, urging him to rise, to train the boy, Anakin Skywalker, and to trust the Force. Obi-Wan. He was a Jedi Knight, newly minted, tasked with training a boy whose potential burned like a star, but whose fear flickered like a storm. Anakin, barely 10, stood in the temple's courtyard, his eyes wide with awe and uncertainty. Obi-Wan saw Qui-Gon's faith in the boy, but without Yoda's guidance, he doubted his own strength. Could he shape Anakin into a Jedi, or would he fail, as he feared he had failed Qui-Gon? The council, now led by Mace Windu, was fractured. Yoda's sudden ascension to a Force ghost had shaken their confidence. Some, like Ki-Adi-Mundi, questioned whether Yoda's choice was a warning, a sign that the Sith's return demanded a new path. Others, like Plo Koon, saw it as a call to trust in the Force's mystery. Obi-Wan, caught between duty and doubt, felt the weight of their expectations. In the shadows of this turmoil, a secondary figure emerged, Padme Amidala, Queen of Naboo. Her presence in the temple was rare, but her gratitude for the Jedi's role in freeing her planet brought her to Coruscant. She sought Obi-Wan, not as a queen, but as a young woman haunted by the cost of victory. Qui-Gon's death and Yoda's vanishing had stirred her own questions about leadership and sacrifice. She spoke to Obi-Wan in the temple's gardens, her voice steady, but her eyes betraying a flicker of fear. She wondered if the Republic could withstand the unseen threats Yoda had sensed. Her words planted a seed in Obi-Wan's mind, a realization that the Sith's shadow extended beyond the Jedi into the heart of the Republic itself. Padme's resolve to investigate the Senate's undercurrents sparked a parallel thread, one that would intertwine with Obi-Wan's journey and Anakin's destiny. The change from the original timeline was profound. Without Yoda's physical presence, the Jedi Council lacked its unifying voice. Mace Windu, though formidable, led with pragmatism, not Yoda's mystic intuition. The discovery of Darth Maul's survival on Naboo, coupled with Yoda's transformation, convinced the Jedi that the Sith were not a singular threat, but a network lurking in the galaxy's seams. Yoda's Force ghost, though powerful, could only guide, not command. His appearances were fleeting, his words cryptic, forcing Obi-Wan to rely on his own judgment. This shift thrust Obi-Wan into a leadership role he was unprepared for, while Padme's early suspicions of Senate corruption set the stage for a political reckoning. The galaxy stood at a crossroads, and the Force hummed with the promise of chaos and redemption. Obi-Wan takes Anakin to Tatooine, their first mission together. The Council had intercepted a distress signal from Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother, hinting at a slaver uprising tied to a mysterious figure. Obi-Wan saw the mission as a test, not just of Anakin's discipline, but of his own ability to guide a boy tethered to his past. Tatooine's suns scorched the desert, and the Junland wastes buzzed with tension. As they approached a slaver encampment, Anakin's fear for his mother surged, his small hands clenching. Obi-Wan, sensing the boy's turmoil, placed a hand on his shoulder, but Yoda's voice whispered in his mind, "Fear, the path to the dark side is. Guide him, you must." The encampment was a maze of tents and cages, guarded by Weequay mercenaries. Obi-Wan moved with precision, his blue lightsaber humming as he deflected blaster bolts. Anakin, untrained but instinctive, used the Force to topple a guard tower, saving a group of captives. The victory was swift, but Shmi's absence, she had been taken off-world, left Anakin trembling with anger. Obi-Wan knelt beside him, promising to find her, but the boy's eyes burned with a resolve that unnerved him. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Padme navigated the Senate's gilded halls. Her investigation into the Trade Federation's lingering influence uncovered whispers of a shadowy figure manipulating commerce. She met with Senator Bail Organa, whose quiet strength bolstered her resolve. Their discreet inquiries revealed a connection to a mining operation on Mustafar, a planet of fire and ash. Padme's decision to dispatch a covert team to Mustafar set a parallel course, one that would converge with Obi-Wan's mission. Her actions, though political, carried the weight of a queen who sensed the galaxy's fragility. She confided in Bail that Yoda's absence felt like a warning, a sign that the Republic's foundations were cracking. Bail nodded, his eyes distant, as if he too felt the approaching storm. The tension escalated on Naboo, where Obi-Wan and Anakin tracked Shmi's captors. Theed's waterfalls roared, their mist cloaking the city in an ethereal haze. The trail led to a hidden Sith outpost beneath the palace, guarded by a cult loyal to Darth Maul. Obi-Wan's heart raced as he sensed Maul's presence, a wound from Qui-Gon's death reopened. The outpost was a labyrinth of stone and shadow, its walls etched with Sith runes. Anakin, driven by desperation, rushed ahead, his untrained Force abilities flaring. Obi-Wan followed, his lightsaber clashing with cultists' vibroblades. In a central chamber, they found Shmi, bound but alive, and Darth Maul, his red-black face twisted in a sneer. Maul taunted Obi-Wan, mocking Yoda's cowardly retreat into the Force. The duel was ferocious, Maul's double-bladed saber a whirlwind of red. Obi-Wan fought with discipline, but Anakin's raw power disrupted the balance, shattering a column that trapped Maul beneath rubble. Shmi was freed, but Maul's escape left Obi-Wan shaken. Yoda's ghost appeared, urging patience, but Obi-Wan felt the Sith's shadow growing. Back on Coruscant, Padme's team returned from Mustafar with disturbing evidence, shipments of cortosis, a lightsaber-resistant metal linked to a Senate insider. Her confrontation with Chancellor Valorum, though measured, revealed his ignorance of the plot. Padme's resolve hardened. She would uncover the traitor, even if it meant defying protocol. Her path, though separate from Obi-Wan's, echoed his struggle. Both faced an enemy hidden in plain sight, and both carried the burden of Yoda's ethereal guidance. The stage was set for a reckoning. Obi-Wan's doubts about Anakin deepened, yet the boy's courage in saving Shmi sparked hope. Padme's investigation threatened to unravel the Republic's core, while Maul's survival promised chaos. The galaxy teetered, and Yoda's ghostly presence whispered of trials yet to come. The galaxy churned with unseen currents, its fragile peace fraying under the weight of secrets. On Coruscant, the Jedi Temple stood as a beacon of hope. but its halls echoed with uncertainty. Obi-Wan Kenobi, burdened by Yoda's absence and the Sith's shadow, trained Anakin Skywalker with a mix of resolve and trepidation. The boy's power grew, but so did his impulsiveness, a spark that threatened to ignite. Padme Amidala, meanwhile, wove through the Senate's labyrinth, her pursuit of truth drawing her closer to a conspiracy that could shatter the Republic. Yoda's Force ghost flickered in and out, his cryptic guidance a faint light in the gathering storm. The Sith were rising, and the Jedi, unaware of the true mastermind, faced a trial that would test their unity and faith. Obi-Wan's struggle deepened as he grappled with Anakin's training. In the temple's sparring chambers, Anakin wielded a training saber with ferocious intensity, his strikes precise but laced with frustration. Obi-Wan parried, his blue blade a steady counterpoint, but his mind was elsewhere. Yoda's last appearance, after the clash with Maul on Naboo, had left him unsettled. The Grand Master's ghost had spoken of balance, of a darkness cloaked in light, but offered no clear path. Obi-Wan feared he was failing Anakin, whose dreams of Shmi's suffering haunted him. The boy's attachment to his mother, now safe on Naboo under Padme's protection, was a tether Obi-Wan couldn't sever. Each lesson felt like a battle, not against Anakin, but against the doubt that gnawed at Obi-Wan's heart. Could he guide the Chosen One without Yoda's wisdom? The narrative surged forward as the Jedi Council dispatched Obi-Wan and Anakin to Alderaan, where a diplomatic summit had been disrupted by an assassination attempt. The lush planet, with its emerald valleys and soaring cities, masked a brewing conflict. Separatist sympathizers, emboldened by the Trade Federation's defiance, had targeted Senator Bail Organa, Padme's ally. Obi-Wan sensed a Sith hand behind the attack, a suspicion Yoda's ghost confirmed in a fleeting vision. Deceptions. Many there are. Trust your instincts. You must. In Aldera's Grand Palace, Obi-Wan and Anakin moved through crowds of dignitaries, their senses sharp. Anakin, eager to prove himself, spotted a cloaked figure slipping into the gardens. Ignoring Obi-Wan's caution, he pursued, his small frame darting through moonlit hedges. The figure was a Sith acolyte, wielding a red vibro-blade. Obi-Wan arrived as Anakin disarmed the attacker with a burst of Force energy, but the acolyte's words chilled them. The true Sith watches from the Senate's heart. The acolyte escaped, leaving Obi-Wan to reprimand Anakin's recklessness, though he saw the boy's courage as a mirror of Qui-Gon's. On Coruscant, Padme's investigation gained momentum. Her Mustafar findings had exposed a trail of Cortosis shipments linked to Senator Palpatine's office, though no direct evidence implicated him. She met Bail Organa in a secluded Senate chamber, their voices low as they pored over encrypted data. The shipments traced to Geonosis, a desert world rumored to house a separatist foundry. Padme's resolve to uncover the Senate's traitor clashed with her fear of destabilizing the Republic. Bail urged caution, but Padme's encounter with Obi-Wan on Alderaan had steeled her. She dispatched a covert team to Geonosis, led by Captain Panaka, her loyal Naboo guard. The mission was perilous, but Padme felt Yoda's absence as a call to action. She confided in Bail that the Jedi's loss mirrored the Republic's vulnerability, a sentiment that bound her path to Obi-Wan's. The tension escalated on Geonosis, where Obi-Wan and Anakin followed a lead from the Alderaan acolyte. The planet's red sands and towering spires buzzed with danger. The Jedi infiltrated a separatist foundry, its caverns alive with droid assembly lines. Obi-Wan moved with stealth, his lightsaber unlit, while Anakin's impatience strained their cover. Jar Jar's cameo? The foundry was a fortress, guarded by Geonosian warriors and B-1 battle droids. As they neared a central chamber, they discovered Cortosis-plated droid prototypes, designed to resist lightsabers. The mastermind was absent, but a hologram flickered to life, revealing Count Dooku, the former Jedi turned separatist leader. Dooku's voice was calm, his words laced with menace. The Jedi were pawns in a game they couldn't comprehend. Before Obi-Wan could act, Geonosians swarmed, their sonic blasters shattering the cavern's silence. Obi-Wan's saber ignited, carving through drones, while Anakin's force pushes toppled scaffolds, buying them time. They escaped, but Dooku's hologram haunted Obi-Wan. Was Dooku the true Sith, or a pawn like Maul? Back on Coruscant, Padme's team returned from Geonosis with fragments of a droid schematic and a name. Sidious. The word sent a chill through her. Bale's research uncovered whispers of a Sith Lord manipulating both Republic and Separatist factions. Padme confronted Palpatine in the Senate, her questions veiled but pointed. Palpatine's smile was disarming, his assurances smooth, yet Padme sensed a darkness beneath his warmth. She shared her findings with Obi-Wan via a secure holocom, their conversation tense. Obi-Wan revealed Dooku's involvement, and Padme's mention of Sidious tightened the knot in his chest. Yoda's ghost appeared to Obi-Wan that night, his form shimmering in the temple's archives. Closer, the truth is. But blinded by trust, you may be. Obi-Wan's resolve hardened. He would uncover Sidious, for Anakin, for the Jedi, for the galaxy. The pace quickened as the Jedi Council devised a trap. Suspecting a Senate insider, they leaked false intelligence about a Jedi assault on Kamino, the clone production hub. If Sidious was among them, he would act to protect his plans. Obi-Wan and Anakin joined Mace Windu and Plo Koon on Kamino, where Tipoca City's domed structures gleamed under stormy skies. The trap was delicate. Too much aggression risked exposing their suspicions. Too little risked failure. Anakin's restlessness grew, his dreams of Shmi now mingling with visions of a cloaked figure. Obi-Wan guided him through meditation, but Yoda's voice interrupted. Patience, young Skywalker. The Force, your ally it is. The Kamino mission was a gamble, and as rain lashed the city, Obi-Wan sensed the Sith's net tightening. On Coruscant, Padme's pursuit led to a clandestine meeting with Mon Mothma, a young senator wary of Palpatine's influence. Their discussion, held in a shadowed cantina, revealed a pattern. Palpatine's emergency powers had grown unchecked since Naboo. Mon Mothma's caution clashed with Padme's urgency, but their alliance solidified. Padme's team intercepted a transmission from Kamino, hinting at a separatist fleet mobilizing. She relayed the warning to Obi-Wan, her heart racing. The galaxy's fate hung on their actions, and Padme felt the weight of Yoda's sacrifice urging her forward. On Kamino, Obi-Wan and Anakin braced for an unseen enemy, their trust in the Force tested. Padme's discoveries threatened to unmask Sidious, but the cost of truth loomed large. Dooku's shadow and Maul's survival fueled the chaos, while Yoda's ghost whispered of a balance yet to be found. The galaxy trembled, its future hinging on the choices of a Jedi, a queen, and a boy destined for greatness. The galaxy stood on the edge of collapse, its stars dimmed by the shadow of betrayal. Kamino's stormy skies roared as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker braced for the trap they had set, their hearts heavy with the weight of Yoda's absence. Padme Amidala, on Coruscant, teetered on the brink of unmasking a Sith Lord, her courage tested by the Republic's fragility. Yoda's Force ghost flickered like a distant beacon, his words urging unity, but the Sith's web tightened. Count Dooku's machinations and Darth Maul's wrath fueled chaos, while the name Sidious echoed as a harbinger of doom. The Jedi, the Senate, and a boy destined for greatness faced a reckoning that would reshape the stars. The pace surged as Kamino erupted into chaos. Tipoca City's sleek platforms trembled under a separatist assault, triggered by the Jedi's leaked intelligence. Obi-Wan led Anakin, Mace Windu, and Plo Koon through the city's corridors, their lightsabers blazing against waves of B-2 super battle droids. Rain lashed their robes as they fought to protect the cloning facilities. Anakin, driven by visions of a cloaked figure, moved with reckless precision, his untrained force abilities toppling droid squads. Obi-Wan's heart raced. Anakin's power was a gift, but his impulsiveness a danger. Yoda's ghost appeared amidst the fray, his form glowing against the storm. Balance. You must find. Trust the boy, but guide him. You will. Obi-Wan deflected a blaster bolt, nodding, but doubt lingered. The battle escalated as Darth Maul emerged, his double-bladed saber a red tempest. Obi-Wan faced him alone, their duel a clash of grief and vengeance. Maul's strikes were ferocious, but Obi-Wan's discipline held, his blue blade parrying with desperate grace. Anakin, defying orders, joined the fight, his raw force push sending Maul crashing into a platform's edge. Maul vanished into the rain, wounded but alive, leaving Obi-Wan to pull Anakin back, his voice sharp with fear for the boy's safety. In orbit above Kamino, the battle raged in the void. Republic cruisers, led by Captain Tarkin, clashed with a separatist fleet commanded by Count Dooku's proxy, Admiral Trench. Vulture droids swarmed like locusts, their laser fire stitching the darkness. Anakin, piloting a Delta 7 starfighter with Obi-Wan's reluctant approval, weaved through the chaos, his instincts uncanny. R2-D2, strapped to the fighter, beeped furiously as Anakin targeted a droid control ship's reactor. Obi-Wan, in his own starfighter, guarded Anakin's flank, his mind torn between pride and dread. The control ship exploded in a blinding flare, scattering the separatist formation, but Trench's flagship retaliated, its turbo lasers grazing Anakin's wing. Obi-Wan's shout over the comms steadied the boy, and together they crippled Trench's command bridge, forcing a retreat. The victory was fleeting. Obi-Wan sensed a deeper trap, and Yoda's ghost whispered, "The Sith's hand. Closer it moves." On Coruscant, Padme's pursuit reached its zenith. Her alliance with Mon Mothma and Bail Organa uncovered a hollow recording from Geonosis, buried in Palpatine's private archives. It showed Palpatine conferring with Dooku, their voices low, plotting the clone army's creation under the guise of Sifo Dyas. The revelation struck Padme like a blade. Palpatine was Sidious, the puppeteer of the war. She confronted him in the Chancellor's office, her composure masking a storm of fear. Palpatine's eyes glinted, his words smooth but laced with menace. He denied the accusations, but Padme's broadcast of the hollow recording to the Senate floor shattered his facade. Chaos erupted as senators demanded answers, and Palpatine vanished, his shuttle streaking toward the industrial sector. Padme, with Bail and Mon Mothma, rallied a Senate guard to pursue, their resolve echoing Obi-Wan's fight on Kamino. On Kamino's surface, Obi-Wan and Anakin tracked a signal to an underwater facility, a Sith stronghold hidden beneath the waves. The labyrinthine corridors pulsed with dark energy, cortosis-lined walls glinting ominously. There, they found Dooku, his crimson saber ignited, and a surprise. Darth Maul, his wounds barely healed, allied with his former master. The duel was cataclysmic. Obi-Wan and Mace Windu facing Dooku while Anakin and Plo Koon clashed with Maul. Dooku's elegance met Mace's ferocity, their blades a blur of purple and red. Anakin's raw power overwhelmed Maul, but his anger flared, his strikes edging toward darkness. Obi-Wan, sensing the shift, called out, pulling Anakin back. Yoda's ghost materialized, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Anger, you must release. The light, your strength it is." Anakin faltered, and Plo Koon's saber struck Maul's chest, ending the Zabrak's reign. Dooku, cornered, unleashed Force lightning, but Mace's Vapad form absorbed it, severing Dooku's hand. The Count fell, defeated but defiant, his final words a warning. "Sidious is beyond you." In orbit, the unexpected struck. Palpatine, as Sidious, boarded Trench's retreating flagship, his presence a dark void in the Force. Obi-Wan and Anakin, alerted by Padme's broadcast, pursued in their starfighters, joined by Tarkin's cruisers. The flagship's hangar became a battlefield. Sidious's twin red sabers, a whirlwind against Obi-Wan and Mace. Anakin, driven by a vision of Shmi's safety, fought with desperate clarity, his blue blade a beacon. Sidious's lightning scorched the deck, but Anakin's force shield protected Obi-Wan, a moment of unity that stunned the Sith. The trap closed as Padme's Senate Guard, led by Captain Panaka, boarded the ship, their blasters forcing Sidious to retreat. In a final gambit, Sidious hurled a starfighter's wreckage, but Anakin's force push redirected it, crushing the Sith Lord against the hangar wall. Sidious's body crumpled, his dark essence fading, but not before a chilling laugh echoed. The dark side endures. On Coruscant, the Senate mourned its betrayal but rallied under Bail Organa's leadership. Palpatine's exposure fractured the Republic, but Padme's diplomacy forged the Galactic Concord, a treaty balancing Republic and Separatist worlds. The Jedi Order, humbled by Yoda's sacrifice, reformed under Mace Windu's guidance, embracing emotion as a strength, not a weakness. Obi-Wan, now a council member, trained Anakin with renewed faith, the boy's bond with Shmi grounding him. Yet the cost was heavy. Plo Koon, wounded on Kamino, retired to Doran, his saber extinguished. Shmi, though safe, carried scars from her captivity, a reminder of Anakin's near fall. Padme, hailed as a hero, stepped back from the Senate, her heart heavy with the lives lost. The secondary arc converged as Padme visited Naboo, where Shmi now lived. There, an unexpected figure emerged, Jar Jar Binks, the Gungan whose clumsiness had once aided the Battle of Naboo. Jar Jar, now a tribal elder, spoke of unity, his broken basic carrying a quiet wisdom. His presence stirred nostalgia, a reminder of simpler times before the Sith's shadow. Padme and Shmi, joined by Jar Jar, dedicated a monument to Yoda, its inscription reading, "In the Force, Eternal." Anakin, standing beside Obi-Wan, touched the stone, his eyes distant but hopeful. Yoda's ghost appeared one last time, his smile serene. "The light you have found. Carry it, you will." The galaxy healed, but scars remained. The Concord ensured peace, with Bail as Chancellor and Mon Mothma as Vice-Chancellor. The Jedi, no longer bound to Coruscant, spread across worlds, guardians of balance. Anakin, tempered by loss, grew into a Jedi of compassion, his love for Shmi and Padme a strength. Obi-Wan, forever changed, carried Yoda's wisdom, a beacon for a new era. The Force flowed freely, its currents cleansed of Sith corruption, and the stars shone brighter, a testament to those who fell and those who rose. And there it is, folks, the final part of our "What if Yoda became a Force ghost during the Phantom Menace?" saga. Writing this was like piloting an X-Wing through an asteroid field, thrilling, intense, and a little bittersweet. I poured my heart into Obi-Wan's journey, Anakin's growth, and Padme's bravery, trying to honor their core while exploring this wild alternate timeline. The Kamino battles were a blast to craft, pulling from Attack of the Clones' energy, but with higher stakes. Pure nostalgia. I couldn't resist bringing him back for a touch of heart. Yoda's sacrifice and the Jedi's reform felt like the right balance of tragedy and hope, mirroring Star Wars' soul. I'm curious, what hit you hardest? Anakin's close call with darkness, Padme's Senate showdown, or maybe Plo Koon's quiet exit? Drop your thoughts, favorite moments, or what you'd love to see next. This was a labor of love, inspired by the Phantom Menace's mystery and the Clone Wars' depth. Thanks for joining me on this ride, and may the Force be with you always.